They're talking about the NFL from a different perspective. Game recaps, stats, big plays, predictions, and much more. You're listening to the B&E podcast with Ed Donaldson and Brandon Simpson.
Seahawks, Chargers, Dolphins, Vikings, and yes, my Ravens were all headed to the couch. In the meantime, the 49ers, Jaguars, Bills, Giants, and Bengals are all headed to the divisional round of the playoffs. Welcome to the BED podcast, sponsored by Prehemium, a CBD health and wellness company. Check out their line of CBD infused products, which are a perfect after workout refill for athletes, a pain reliever for weekend warriors, and even a natural sports drink for us armchair quarterbacks. Their featured product is CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures and mint and natural flavors. They are veteran and and minority owned. So come get some of this sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use the code BNE for 15% off of your order. Their website is www.prehemium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. And now back to our show. Ed, here we are. How was your wild card weekend?
It was good. It's definitely a wild card weekend, that's for sure. Just want to say happy MLK Day as well.
Absolutely.
Hope everyone is who has his day off is enjoying his day off. And the people who have to work, hopefully y'all getting time and a half or something. But yeah, this definitely was a really wild card round. Some outcomes I definitely didn't expect. Some games that were closer than I thought they would be. I'm
For sure.
looking forward to talking to it though. Let's get started with this opening drive though. The Saints say they will keep Dennis Allen as their head coach. We'll see how that goes. Ravens say they will offer Lamar Jackson a long-term extension this offseason, according to Ian Rappaport. And Bucks center Ryan Jensen has been activated off the IR and is expected to play tonight versus Dallas.
All right, turning the page, everyone. Chargers and Jags, Saturday night football. What a show under the lights. Jacksonville won the game on the final seconds to advance. Duval, stand up, everyone. The Jaguars had me fed up from the start. Trevor Lawrence, he threw two interceptions, I believe, in the first two drives, definitely on that first drive for sure. 4 interceptions overall. He looked like the rookie Trevor Lawrence out there in the first half. No other way to put it besides that. Austin Eckler on the other side of the field, he took an end zone twice, and Gerald Everett, a wide receiver I've never even heard of, he hauled in 6 for 109 and a touchdown. Sante Samuel Jr. was a living nightmare for the Jaguars offense. Just pathetic for the AFC South champions early on. And I remember texting you early in the game saying that Jacksonville might as well forfeit, and couple other texts about Trevor's gameplay. But like my guy Ray Lewis used to say, it's a 60-minute ball game, because in the second half, Trevor Lawrence and them boys, they woke the hell up and got it going. Each of his key playmakers out wide, they scored. That's Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Zay, and Marvin Jones Jr. as well. Need I mention Travis Etienne's 25-yard run on 4th and 1. Doug Peterson dialed it up, kind of gutsy call there on the final drive. He set up the kicker for that game winner on the last play of the game. As for Jacksonville, they take a trip to Kansas City, where they lost 27-17 on the road early this season. I remember we was texting during that game as well. You said at some point, I think right before halftime, Jacksonville came alive. And I was like, I'll believe it when I see it, as far as them winning that game. Kansas City went on to win that one. Jacksonville, I think they have a lot to clean up right now. This is the second straight week where they've struggled to get off the field on third down. The run defense was a liability last week against the Titans in that AFC South title game. Got a little bit better in this game, but if they go down against 27 against Kansas City, they have no shot at all, in my opinion. Kansas City is a different animal than the Chargers. We all know that. They're, even though they're not as good this year, they'll put the nail in the coffin before they could even blink. Did you catch this game as well?
Yeah, man. What they say, this is the third largest playoff comeback in
Yes.
NFL history. That's crazy. I was just looking at these possessions. The first quarter, first possession for the Jaguars was an interception. Chargers get the ball, touchdown. Second possession was an interception for the Jaguars. Chargers get the ball, field goal. Then the Jaguars punt. Chargers punt. Then Jaguars get the ball back, another interception, and the Chargers got a touchdown. I was thinking this game was going to be a blowout, honestly.
Yeah.
27-7. MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, he called it halftime NFL Network. He's saying, don't worry, everyone. Jacksonville will come back and win it last-second field goal. I'm sure he ain't really, I don't want to say he ain't believing, but he's probably just saying that as a guy on TV and he's a former Jacksonville player. So, yeah, man, just a crazy game. The guy you're talking about, Gerald Everett, he's their tight end, but I know they missed Mike Williams because he's a guy who can get those jump balls, and he's like a good possession receiver. I know they missed him. I wonder if they're going to have any more thoughts about how he played the last game and injured his back. I believe he had some kind of fracture in his back, which caused him to miss this week. Brandon Staley's seat, you just got a little hotter. I don't think they're going to fire him. I mean, this is his second straight season of 10 wins. He's got him to the playoffs, so I think they're going to keep him. They could make some changes, though, other areas in the staff, the coaching staff, but back to this game, man. Like you said, the Jaguars, they really did a good job this week of run defense. I thought Austin Eckler would have a bigger game, but looking at his stats, he didn't really do too much. I know he had a touchdown or two, but I think he only had like 35 yards rushing. So this was just I think I texted you after the game. I was like, what were you saying? He was like, the Jaguars would just forfeit. And I was right there with you for a second. I was like, wow, man, this is crazy. Asante Samuel, I think you mentioned him. He had a coming out party of sorts, 3 interceptions. But it's just, I really thought I would hear Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa's name more. I know Joey Bosa was coming off injury, so he wasn't his full self, but those guys really didn't do much. Khalil Mack, he had a sack, but I thought they would have more plays down the stretch and get the defense off the field. But the Jaguars, they just flipped the switch, and the Chargers, it seems like they turned the switch off because this comeback, I was looking at it, but I wasn't believing it. I was like, okay, the Chargers are still going to win. Even in the fourth quarter when the game was closer, I was still thinking, okay, the Chargers are going to do something. Herbert's going to make an incredible play or rush a little bit more. But no, salute to the Jaguars. Brandon, can I just get that famous Duval from you one more time?
I don't think they deserve it right now, but Duval.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to the Jaguars. Like you said, they go down 27 against the Chiefs. I don't think they'll come back and win the game. They might come back and make a game of it, but I don't think they'll win the game just because how the Chiefs are. But yeah, man, that was probably the best game of the weekend, in my opinion. We got one more game left, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, but this definitely, in my opinion, was the game of the week so far.
Real quick, I did hear those. I heard Joey Bosa's name. He had those 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. But besides that, you had a valid point. Yeah,
definitely did. All right, so let's go over to the AFC East. Third matchup between these teams. Bills beat the Dolphins 34-31. This was a game that the Dolphins, or I should say the Bills, tried their best to lose. Just a bunch of crazy stuff happening. Josh Allen gets sacked. He fumbles the ball. The Dolphins recover it for a touchdown running in the end zone. I thought Xavier Howard was going to get torched the whole damn game because Stephon Diggs beat him early on a touchdown pass. Stephon Diggs finished with 7 catches for 114 yards. I think, man, it might be a long day for Xavier Howard if he's going to cover him all day. But he came back and made a great interception. I think Tony Romo and pretty much everyone else was blaming it on the wide receiver. He didn't run his route correctly. But even so, Xavier Howard made a great pick on the ball, gave the Dolphins some life, and they pretty much stayed in the game. Going into halftime, I believe it was 20-17. And honestly, it should have been like 31-7 for the Bills, but they just had a bunch of mistakes, turnovers, and then the Dolphins. I texted you. I was like, I really get upset when you see receivers drop balls, especially on big plays or plays that can lead to, momentum changers. Jalen Waddle, I wonder how he feels after that game because he had a couple of drops. One of the drops, I will say, the defender made a great play on the ball. I forgot who it was. I think it was Tre'Davious White. But one of those balls, he tried to catch it with his chest and he just bobbled it. I mean, the pass was a little underthrown, but still, you got to catch those balls, man. A game of this magnitude, every possession counts. So I really wonder how Jay Lovato feels after this game. And also, I was really confused why Skylar Thompson didn't use his legs more, man. I thought he had plenty of opportunities to scramble, pick up yards, but he would scramble, hold the ball, look downfield, didn't see anything, then he would run out of bounds and get like a yard where he could have just made up his mind a little earlier, probably got like 5-6 yards on the play. So I was really frustrated with his play. I know he's a third string rookie, so he did good for his position, but still, it was just frustrating. I was kind of rooting for the Dolphins in this one, but it was good to see the Bills pull their shit out of their ass and get the job done. Brandon, what you think about this one?
Yeah, I didn't see much of this game. I actually took a nap about probably first quarter through the third, late first through the third. But honestly surprised at how close this game finished out. It's funny you mentioned that earlier in the show. A lot of games were closer than what we thought they were going to be. In a sense, I think because of the quarterback situation, you mentioned Skylar Thompson, but we all know how the divisional games are generally closer and all that type of stuff there. The game kind of shifted by quarters. As you mentioned, Buffalo won the first quarter. Miami took the second. Buffalo took the third. Despite the Miami shutout Buffalo in the fourth, it just wasn't enough at that point. Miami had those delayed games at the end of the game on that final drive. I believe it was 1 or 2. They just couldn't get out the huddle fast enough, or whatever. For whatever reason, they just could not get up to that line, and that kind of hurt them there at the end. Allen and that Buffalo offensive line helped keep it close, though. Excuse me, they didn't help keep it close. Allen had 2 interceptions. I think he had 3 fumbles. He lost one of them, sacked 7 times. But Cole Beasley, welcome back. He had a 6-yard touchdown. Was that Cole Beasley? I'm not saying Cole Beasley. Coming from, but no, that's not Cole Beasley. What am I doing? He's on the, yeah, that's right. Cole Beasley. I'm going from side to side. My bad. But anyway, reports in pregame to Damar Hamlin, he could possibly make it to the game, but he ended up watching from home. Lord, I hope that he's at Highmark next week to help boost Buffalo even more against Cincinnati. I just want Buffalo to beat the hell out of Cincinnati next week. I'm sorry.
I wonder why.
Yeah, we know why. But yeah, back to the game. Shout out to the Dolphins who came to play. It was a struggle early for Skylar Thompson, but his squad kept it close there. Got some help from his special teams and his defense. Zach Seiler and them boys, they got after Josh Allen. Again, 7 sacks, took him down. A lot of times was under duress the entire game, made it very difficult for the Pro Bowl quarterback. But in the end, Buffalo prevailed at home, and they'll host them pesky ass Bengals next week. Let's go Buffalo. For real.
Yeah.
Please.
Those delayed games were just mind blowing to me, man. I was like, what are y'all doing? Come on. They had a bunch of delayed game penalties. Bad.
Yep. All right, everyone, turning the page. The number 2 seed in NFC was upset by the G-Men. Vikings lost 31-24 at US Bank Stadium. I know my dad is smiling big time up in heaven right now. His team won their first playoff game since, I think, the Super Bowl long time ago, the Eli Manning days, for sure. I mean, I think we all kind of thought in the back of our minds that this game would likely be an upset of the weekend. We talk about Minnesota all year long, that they were kind of frauds. They weren't going to go far in the playoffs. They probably had a couple lucky wins, all that type of stuff. But both teams had the formula to win close games. Just New York certainly did their thing on Sunday afternoon. Daniel Jones, he played a hell of a game, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns, plus he added nearly 80 yards on the ground. Saquon had a few power scores, ran over one of the guys in the end zone there. I think that was in the fourth quarter. And the wide receivers really stepped up. Guys I don't even know out there, besides Darius Slayton. I mentioned him.
Who had a big drop.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. He got real lucky that drop didn't come back to haunt him in that game. Luckily, that defense came out and got that ball back or stopped the Vikings from going downfield. Wide the hell open, crossing from right to left. Let the ball hit the ground. Could have sealed the game right then and there. But in typical Wink Martindale defense fashion, his defenses failed to cover the tight end. TJ Hawkinson went off, okay? And there was another tight end that had a couple big catches as well. Kirk Cousins didn't play a bad game, in my opinion. It wasn't, it wasn't for a big game for him. Excuse me, it wasn't like a normal big game for him where he typically chokes, besides that what was that, at third or fourth down play where he threw it to tight end for 2 yards, 2 or 3 yards there.
The
I know a
fourth and
lot of
8
people are
play.
talking. What's that?
You talk about that 4th and 8 play,
Yeah,
the
that
last
final
play.
play. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, looking ahead, I think that the Giants, they'll give the Eagles some fits next week. I'm not going to say that I'm picking the Giants right now, but I am kind of leaning towards them. I think that hopefully on this third time, they'll make the adjustments and everything. We'll have more on that next later in the week. But yeah, what caught your eye in this game?
Yeah, like you said, we both thought the Vikings would be a one and done or leave early in the playoffs. I right out called them frauds a few weeks ago, and they kind of proved me right. Thank you for that. Like you said, Kirk Cousins doesn't have a bad game. It's just that defense is abysmal. I was really surprised that they let Daniel Jones dice him up on the ground like that. It
Yeah.
seems like he was scrambling. Well, he wasn't scrambling. He was like looking for somebody to throw to, and there would be no goddamn Vikings defenders around him at all. Then he would take off for like 5-6 yards. I'm like, they really gonna just keep letting him do that? Okay, more power to him. Salute to Saquon Barkley, man. Like you said, he had a few good power runs, especially those 2 for touchdowns, and he also did some damage in receiving. He had like 5 catches for 50 yards or something like that as well. So this is a really good win for the Giants. I think we both predicted them to win. Like you said, the Eagles, that's going to be a tougher matchup. I don't see Daniel Jones running like that as much as he did against the Vikings. I think he'll run the ball, but I don't think he'll be as effective. But we'll see. He's a really athletic guy, and he's as everybody says, when you get him on the field, he's bigger than what a lot of people expect. So it could be a good smash mouth game as well for that one. But back to this game. Vikings, TJ Hawkinson, like you said, 10 receptions, over 100 yards. Dalvin Cook, I thought he would have a bigger game, but that Giants defense kind of held him in check. I thought Justin Jefferson would have a huge game as well. But just salute to the Giants, Brian Daboll, OC, Mike Kafka, all those guys. They came in here. Daniel Jones probably extended the life of his NFL career. I'm pretty sure they're going to offer him a contract now. If that news hasn't came out like as officially, but I'm pretty sure they're going to stick with him as the quarterback of the future for the Giants because, this season, he definitely turned it around for these guys. Like you said, they got their first playoff win since the Super Bowl probably. So they are feeling really good. Saquon Barkley is not a breakout, but a comeback year for him. I'm really happy for him, man, because I always thought he was a really good quarterback. He had like Hall of Fame potential, in my opinion, before those injuries. So it's good to see him out there, especially in the playoffs, looking good as well. But this game, no Vikings, that defense, man, that is definitely the Achilles heel, especially at the end of the season going into these playoffs. Y'all got something to do. Playoff, the offensive side of the ball looks pretty good with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, but that defense definitely let you guys down. We'll see how they look going into the offseason, if they'll do anything with that. But the Giants, Eagles next week, good divisional game. I can't wait for that one, honestly.
Yep.
I cannot wait. All right, we got to talk about it. AFC North, the Bengals beat the Ravens 24-17. Brandon, I need to hear your thoughts on this one.
There's games. There's games when every fan says their team's just flat out lost, and then there's games where fans say we gave the game away, and that's exactly what happened for Baltimore. We just gave the game away, in my opinion. Marcus Peters returned after a couple weeks out. He had unsportsmanlike conduct late in the first quarter, leads to a Cincinnati touchdown. Of course, the moment that everybody's talking about, the Huntley dive for the touchdown, he fumbles, leads to a 98-yard score and the go-ahead touchdown there. 2 roughing the punter calls before that or right after that, somewhere in that vicinity there that kind of impacted field position there. And then the final play, hell of an effort by everyone on that play. It looked like Zeitler had false start, which I think we had a penalty to play before, either a sack or something like that had backed us up. But they went on, let the play go. Huntley's under duress. He throws it up there for the Hail Mary. Cincinnati defender tips it, kind of goes backwards, and James Prochet, the second of all people, had the opportunity to catch it. I've not been a fan of his this year. But it was just like by a hair. He just missed that pass, and that would have been a hell of a catch for sure. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, all that type of stuff didn't happen. Those guys in Cincinnati, we all know they're the real deal. We actually played decent against their wide receivers. I think they had one drive where it seemed like Burrow was hitting everything to Chase, Boyd, Higgins, all of them. And besides that, we held their receivers in check. I think with Jamar Chase, he had 84 yards. He was the leading receiver, but Higgins and Boyd was definitely held in check, in my opinion, compared to games previously we played against them. And honestly, I'm just happy we didn't get embarrassed. And because my idea about us playing in prime time, and we held their run game in check. 51 total yards on the ground. Joe Mixon, he had a couple of early carries that he kind of chopped us up on, but after that, we kind of got, back in our great run defense that we have and held him in check from there. Turning the page to our executives, I got 5 things for y'all. Yeah, simple and clear. I think every Ravens fan is on the same page here. Sign Lamar. It's simple. Just get it done and over with. I don't want a long off season, have to deal about, if he gets franchise tag, if he gets franchised and they try to trade him, what teams are trying to come after him, all that type of stuff. They're already on his, for missing the game, staying home in Baltimore for it. I'm like, okay, well, he had a knee injury, and then y'all be complaining, a lot of times you don't like to travel with those type of injuries like that. That's common. Like, these players don't always travel when they have injuries anyway. Number 2, resign or extend DeMarcus Robinson. Good things happen when this guy has the ball in his hands. He had that long touchdown catch yesterday, Sunday night, wide the hell open on Eli Apple. I mean, that he is a liability, Eli. We know that he had a rough postseason last year, but still, he was wide the hell open. He's had a couple big games, and it seems like every game where he has a lot of catches and yardage, we tend to win. And then as far as the bank, we've got $52 million in cap money. From what I understand, that's 5th most in the NFL. Please make a push for another talented wide receiver. They're talking about DeAndre Hopkins might be on the trade block. I know Mike Thomas has been banged up in New Orleans, but they're talking about him possibly being cut, a salary cap casualty. Some damn body. Just get us another talented receiver in there to go along with Bateman, and hopefully they bring back DeMarcus Robinson again. I think he's on a 1-year deal. Bring them back and then have them as our top 3. I love Duvernay, but I think he's so talented in the punt and kickoff return game. We need to just bring him in on situations where, here and there. Let him get his coins, you know what I'm saying? Pay the man because he deserves it. Duvernay, he deserves the extension as well. I don't know about this all season, but maybe the next one. But get us 3 solid receivers, please. And then the James Prochet project, it's got to be over. I mean, this guy, he had no catches yesterday. He damn near ain't caught nothing all year. He's like Alejandro Villanueva last year for me. It's time. It's go somewhere else and redeem yourself. He can come back and light us up for all I care. But that's it. I mean, oh no, how could I forget Greg Roman? He's got to go. That should have been number 1. So yeah, those are the 5 things. Eric DaCosta, John Harbaugh, Steve Bisciotti, the owner, Ozzie Newsome, the assistant to the GM or whatever his role is now. Guys, get this done. These 5 things got to happen. And I think the offseason focus is going to be, and in the draft, is going to be on this offense for sure. We do need a pass rusher as well, but yeah, those 5 things for sure got to happen. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think this game proved, like you said, that the Ravens definitely are better with Lamar than without him. But honestly, I hope y'all let him go. I hope y'all don't resign him. I hope y'all don't franchise him. Just let him get on free agency. Maybe Washington get a shot at him. Because
no.
It seems like y'all don't appreciate him. A lot of y'all fans don't appreciate him. A lot of NFL fans don't appreciate him because he's a running quarterback. But we all see what he can do when he's on the field. J.K. Dobbins, I think he said we probably would have won with Lamar out there.
Yep.
And like you said, man, Bengals, I think they really tried their best to give you guys this damn game. Tyler Huntley, I wonder how he's feeling. He played good, but he had a couple of plays out there that I know he wants back, including that dive for the goal line. This wasn't a good play. There was a play, I wonder if you remember, y'all, I can't remember if it was a 4th down or it was a 3rd down, but y'all gave a ball to Mark Andrews on a run, and it was like a
Yeah.
really short yardage. I was like, what the hell were y'all thinking on that? That was
exactly.
real.
Patrick
That was-
Ricard, simple. We got a 300-some-pound fullback. We don't even use him. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, like you said. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I understand. Man, I understand. Speaking of Ricard, he almost had a touchdown, but I think the ball was slightly tipped, and he was. You saw him like After that, I was like, dang, that was real close. I thought the ball was underthrown, but it looked like it was tipped, and that messed up.
It was slightly tipped. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, trajectory of it. So man, it was one of those a game of inches. Like you talked about that punt block where I thought that call was weak, but I guess he did run into the punter. But man, you talk about just a couple of inches away, and who knows what would have happened if they blocked that punter, even tipped it a little bit. But gosh, it was just game of inches, man. It really comes down to inches sometimes. The freaking goal line play. Huntley dives to the ball or dives to the goal line. Didn't get anywhere close to it. I think it was Logan Wilson who forced that fumble. Yeah. And Sam Hubbard returned it. I really thought Mark Andrews was going to catch him for a second.
Oh, he was watching it right now. Yep.
He was right there. His running back, he's like, fuck it, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Gus Edwards gave up.
He's like, I can't get them done. I'm tired of saying Mark Andrews. I was like, Mark Andrews about to catch him? Look like you remember that play? What was it? DK Metcalf on the Cardinals.
Oh yeah,
guy who intercepted the ball. And DK walked him down. I thought it was gonna be one of those for a second. If he would have caught him, I think that would have been a good momentum boost just for stopping the touchdown. But that play kind of won the game for Cincinnati. We'll see how they do against the Bills next week. I think they'll play a little better. I think both teams, Cincinnati and Buffalo, play a little better.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that game will go out. But this game, Sammy Watkins, he ain't do nothing. Did Deshaun Jackson even play?
He got waived a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Got you. I was wondering if I ain't seen him.
I was not happy about that either. I'm like, you need wide receivers and you let him go.
Yeah. Like you said, I think going into next season, guys like Isaiah Likely, I think he'll have a bigger role going into next season. Mark Andrews, man, just steady as they come, 5 receptions, 73 yards. He had 10 targets. And then J.K. Dobbins, he's really starting to become a dual threat if he's not one already. 4 receptions, 43 yards. He had one play. I don't know how the hell I think it was a 3rd down, but I don't know. I can't remember if it was a 3rd down conversion, but it definitely was a 1st down. He broke a couple of tackles and got some good yards for a 1st down. I was like, y'all were really battling out there, man. It sucks y'all getting done. I didn't think y'all had a chance going into this game, but it kind of went like the Dolphins Bills game where like the Bengals gave y'all chances like the Bills gave the Dolphins chances, but at the end, the better, more talented team won. Lamar Jackson was playing. I thought y'all would have lost, but if he would have played that night, I think he probably would have won. He probably would have scored on that design run that Huntley had, I think. And I think he would just made a little bit more plays. So I know he was probably like, see, all you got to do is pay me. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they pay him or not. We will definitely see. Let's look into the other game that happened this weekend, though.
Yes, we had 49ers and the Seahawks. 49ers won easily. Well, it was a little close there early on, but they took it to them in the second half, ended up winning 41-23 there at Levi's Stadium. You catch this one?
Yeah, I caught most of the game. I was happy to see the Niners win, even though I'm becoming a fan of Geno Smith a little bit. So I was kind of hoping he would like stick it to people, but I was happy to see the Niners win. Freaking Pete Carroll and Seahawks been a thorn in my side. It seems like every year when Washington was good, we face a damn Seahawks and they knock us out the playoffs. Going back to the RG3 years, even in that. So I'm a little biased against the Seahawks. So salute to the Niners. The legend of freaking Brock Purdy continues, man. They're gonna have some decisions to make next year. This dude keeps playing the way he does.
Ain't they?
Trey Lance, he might be a backup. Jimmy G, you probably gonna be out of there. But this dude, Brock Purdy, he keeps playing like he's playing. Might be the first rookie to play in the Super Bowl, start the Super Bowl as a quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get to these players of the week. Start with the offensive player of the week. I got to give it to Daniel Jones, man. He played a really good game. Like you said, no turnovers, threw 2 touchdowns, threw for over 300 yards, and he ran for almost 80 yards as well. Who you got for your offensive player of the week?
I'm right there with you. The only thing I can add on, all of that in his first career playoff start. Great game for him. He's adding a little bit more money to that check if he gets the extension. I think they'll franchise him, but if he does get extension, he'll get decent money for sure.
Yeah. All right. Defensive player of the week. Who you got, Brandon?
Kyle Hamilton, Ravens, 9 tackles, 5 solo, a key forced fumble, and a recovery. Gave us momentum heading into halftime. He had a great turnaround near the middle of the year. It definitely was on display in the wild card playoff game. I hope he gets even better next year, like the college athlete they said he was. What about you, defender of the week?
Sorry, but I gotta give it to Sam Hubbard of the Bengals. That play pretty much won him the game. I know it stings a little bit hearing that, Brandon. Sorry, but I gotta give it to him for defensive player of the week.
No problem. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, definitely. All right, special teams player of the week. Who you got?
I have Riley Patterson, the Jaguars kicker, game-winning field goal from 36 yards out to send the Jags to the divisional round of the playoffs. I would assume you have the same.
I did. I was gonna give a special shout out to Naheem Hines too. I never really noticed how explosive this dude was. I know he is a speedster type guy playing with the Colts, but you see him out there and returning kicks and punts and stuff like that. This dude's really got some burners on him.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Riley Patterson, game-winning field goal, so I got to give him that as well, the Jaguars kicker. Bonehead player call of the week. Who you got?
Early fourth quarter, Ravens and Bengals tied at 17. We just talked about it. Everybody's talking about it. Greg Roman, he dials up the quarterback sneak, but it's from the 2-yard line. It might have been the 3, honestly. It just happened so fast. I don't even remember, honestly. Huntley takes a snap, dives over the top. Defense knocks the ball out, goes straight into the hands of Hubbard, who returns it for 98 yards and a touchdown. All of our guys were on the line of scrimmage. Luckily, Mark Andrews was able to get close enough. He narrowly misses, and the crowd goes wild. All you hear is that who they think they're going to beat them Bengals. That sorry-ass song they got from New Orleans, in my opinion. But, yeah, we all know what happened from there. Yeah, what was your bonehead player call of the week?
Bonds is a little different. I got to give it to the refs. I don't know if you saw in the Giants-Vikings game, they had this terrible, in my opinion, roughing the passer call against the Giants defender. He slung Kirk Cousins to the ground, but he still had the ball in his Kirk still had the ball in his hand as he threw it, and he slung him to the ground. They called roughing the passer on that. I'm like, at this point, man, y'all really got to put flags on these guys because you can't touch them anymore as they're throwing the ball. It's just ridiculous. And then I got to give a special shout out to Joey Bosa for losing his damn mind, slamming the helmet on the ground.
Yep.
I guess he got a case to make. He thought the refs made a bad call against him, but that play caused them to get the Jaguars get a yard closer and able to convert that 2-point conversion. So the refs, y'all got my bonehead call of the week, and then Joey Bosa, you got my, I guess you can call it a play for slamming your helmet down, losing your damn mind. And he ain't had no good things to say about the refs either. He said, I'm sick of these people.
I did saw that
interview.
Yep.
I'm like, God damn, boy. You let it out, ain't you?
For sure. All right, everyone. Monday Night Football is the game everybody's talking about. It's so big that First Take has done 2 live shows there today. I'm watching one in the background now, the second one. Another one so big that Rich Eisen used to work for ESPN, and he's now NFL Network, been with them for several years. He said on Sunday or Saturday, one of their preview shows, that this is probably the biggest game that ESPN has ever had on their family of networks, quote unquote, that he said. Obviously they're going to have the Manning cast, going to be on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, all that kind of stuff. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I think that the Cowboys are the better team, but it's like Kansas City, until somebody beats them, I won't believe it. You know what I'm saying? With the Cowboys, until they win a playoff game or win a road playoff game, which they haven't won, I think, since we were probably, 2 years old, something like that, 3 years old, so maybe 6. I don't know. We definitely was in elementary school or younger for
Last time
sure.
Washington won the damn Super Bowl. That's another story, though. Sorry.
So until that happens, I mean, it's just for me, it's nowhere else I can go to. I mean, they beat them in the first game of the regular season. They beat them last year in the first game of the regular season. Tom Brady, we all know he's 7-0 against them. So I mean, yeah, I plus Dak Prescott has been playing down recently. They got embarrassed by y'all last. I mean, it's so many different damn reasons you can go with, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas pulls it off because Tampa is not very good overall. But I just think the momentum with Tampa Bay, as far as overall with Brady, we know how Brady is in the playoffs. It just, I believe it'll go in their favor. What do you see in the outcome of this game ending up being?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about this game, man, but I think I'm slightly leaning toward the Cowboys. My gut just tells me to go with them. The Bucks, I think they're like last in rushing the ball this season. I think they had their 100-yard rushing game against the Cowboys. But you know, they've been banged up with lineman injuries. They're getting the starting center back, Ryan Jensen. We'll see how he plays tonight. He's been rusty. He's going to be rusty, I expect, because he's been on IR the whole season. But I just, for some reason, I just want to I don't want to see, but I see the Cowboys finally getting over this hump and winning a damn playoff game against the Bucks and Tom Brady and crew. I'm thinking Michael Parsons is going to have a good game. And I don't know if the Bucks will be able to run the ball. Leonard Fournette and the other guys they got. I just see the Cowboys winning this one. I think Dak will be a game manager. I don't think he'll be a gunslinger, make some damn turnovers like he did on these previous few weeks. So I'm going with the Cowboys. I think CeeDee Lamb will have a nice game. Dalton Schultz, hear his name. Mm-hmm. And that 1-2 punch, Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, I think they'll wake up. These last couple of weeks, they haven't really been doing too much, but I think Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott will be the guys who will make sure the Cowboys win this game. Hopefully the Cowboys defense, specifically that secondary, won't get torched with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio, and those guys, even the tight end Cade Otton. So I'm just going to go with the Cowboys in this one. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Cowboys should win it, in my opinion. And I want to give some shout outs to these people who made the all-pro teams. You know, I think guys who make the all-pro teams, you make a couple of these, hell, a few, you got a ticket written to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So let's get started with the first team. On the offense side of the ball, we have Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City. Running back Josh Jacobs of Las Vegas had a hell of a season. Yeah. He'll probably get a contract from somebody. Travis Kelce seems like a mainstay. Wide receivers Justin Jefferson of Minnesota, Tyreek Hill of Miami, and Devontae Adams of Las Vegas, all first-team pros. The lineman, Trent Williams of San Fran, Washington. Hey, let another one go.
Yeah.
Right tackle, Lane Johnson of Philly. Guard, Joel Patonio of Cleveland. Guard, Zach Martin of Dallas. And the center, Jason Kelce of Philly, Travis Kelce's brother. Yep. Defense side of the ball is the edge rushers. We got Nick Bosa of San Fran and Micah Parsons of Dallas. Interior linemen, we got Chris Jones of Kansas City and Quinnen Williams of the New York Jets. Linebackers, Fred Warner of San Fran, Roquan Smith of Baltimore, and Matt Milano of Buffalo. Cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner, rookie, New York Jets. Patrick Surtain, the second of Denver. Safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick of Pittsburgh. And another safety, Talona Hufanga of San Fran. I think he's got some relations to the former Pittsburgh safety. Yeah. So might be hearing his name lately. Head and Shoulders, y'all probably want to give him a call too. Yeah. Special teams, place kicker, Daniel Carson of Las Vegas. Punter, Tommy Townsend of Kansas City. Kick return, we got Keyshawn Nixon of Green Bay. Punt returner, Marcus Jones of New England. Special teamer, Jeremy Reeves, Washington. There was a nice video that Washington put out showing Ron Vera, letting him know that he made the
I did see
Pro
that.
Bowl and all-pro team. And then long snapper, Andre DePaul of Minnesota.
Turning our attention to the all-pro second team. Yep. We have quarterback Jalen Hurts of the Eagles as an MVP candidate. Running back Nick Chubb with the Browns. Of course, tight end George Kittle with San Fran's been a mainstay there. Wide receivers, Stephon Diggs with the Bills, CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys, and A.J. Brown, one of the biggest pickups in the offseason via trade with the Eagles there. Left tackle Andrew Thomas with the Giants, Tristan Wirfs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at right tackle, Joe Thuney, Kansas City, left guard, right guard Chris Lindstrom with the Falcons, and Creed Humphrey in his second year. That I know they was talking about how good he was last year. It's nothing but progress made with him as well there, Kansas City. On defensive side of the ball, edge rushers, Myles Garrett with Cleveland. We all know about him. Hassan Reddick with Philly. Interior linemen include Dexter Lawrence of the New York Giants and Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans. Linebackers, Bobby Wagner of the Los Angeles Rams, C.J. Mosley with the Jets, and Demario Davis of the New Orleans Saints. Cornerback, Jair Alexander with Green Bay, James Bradbury with Philly. Safety, one of the best, I think, in the league, Derwin James with the Chargers, and Justin Simmons. He had a couple of interceptions against my team earlier this year there with the Denver Broncos. On special teams, place kicker, the GOAT, Justin Tucker out of Baltimore. Punter, Ryan Stonehouse with the Tennessee Titans. Kick returner, I hope I get your name right, Kane Nwangu, I believe, Minnesota Vikings. Punt returner Khalif Raymond with the Detroit Lions, special teamer George Odom, the San Francisco 49ers, and long snapper Nick Moore with the Ravens. Congratulations to all the guys on the All-Pro first and second team.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats. A quick note, Sauce Gardner, you mentioned him before. I think you gave him Player of the Week a couple of times. And I think you predicted he win of a winner of award. I can't remember what award we
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's the first rookie in about 41 years to be named first team All-Pro. So that's really huge to me. I haven't seen a lot of the Jets play, but yeah, man, he's gonna be in my radar going forward. Quinnen Williams as well. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
The Jets team, the defense, they got a lot of pieces. CJ Mosley, they got 3 All-Pros on that side of the ball, man. So it's kind of like those old Jets with what's my guy's name? Rex Ryan was a coach, and they had a stellar defense back then too. Hopefully they can get something going on the offensive side of the ball, figure out that quarterback situation, because they definitely got a team. They're just missing out one piece. Also want to say San Fran, they got a whole goddamn bunch of people on this goddamn All-Pro team. Trent Williams, Bosa, Fred Warner. I think they had a safety somewhere in there as well.
Special teamer.
Mistaken, but yeah, special teamer.
Troy Polamalu's look like the safety. I can't think his name off the top of my head.
Talona.
Yep.
Talona Hufanga, if I got that right.
Yep. Hufanga.
And then the Eagles, they got A.J. Brown, Hassan Reddick, Kelsey. I mean, a lot of these teams are in the playoffs, and they got all pros on their team. San Fran and Philly, those are 2 teams we think will probably be in the NFC championship game. So this is definitely a lot of teams got some stat guys on that team. You got any thoughts on just the overall all pros?
I mean, they got it right for sure. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek did his thing. Even Devontae out there, not necessarily doing that good. Josh Jacobs, I called on him early in the season, and he just turned it around. You mentioned his contract situation. If he's not back there, he'll definitely get paid somewhere else. Roquan Smith for the Ravens, even before he came over, he was leading the league in tackles with the Bears. We all know about Nick Bosa. I mean, on and on and on, for sure. So, yeah, these guys definitely do their thing on the field week in and week out. And I just like a weird segue, a transition. I think, you mentioned the 49ers and Eagles having a lot of players on this list. I think about how next year's schedule is going to be like, how these teams, I've said it most of the year, we haven't really had a bad team, in my opinion, even though the Texans record and the Bears record are, the worst 2 in the league. How are they going to do these primetime games next year? We always see the Cowboys of the world, the Chiefs of the world, the Eagles of the world, the Bills of the world on primetime. Will we see, more diversity when it comes to these primetime games based off even, comparing it to these lists of players here? for sure. So that'll be something interesting to watch during the offseason in May when the schedule release comes out.
Yeah, definitely. In Kansas City, I got a couple of guards or linemen off the side of the ball, so I don't want to see no damn sacks on Patrick Mahomes next week. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. But yeah, shout out to everyone who made the All-Pro teams.
For sure.
Especially Sauce Gardner. That's crazy. Rookie, first team All-Pro.
Yep.
I don't think that's anything like that.
Yeah, I hope that all works out. I know I said that early in the year that I think back to the Jamal Adams situation. I think he was a very good talent there when he was there, and they kind of let him go. I hope that Sauce Gardner, they're able to keep him there for a while and don't let him walk, whether it's free agency or trade and all that type of stuff, because they definitely have a stud there.
Yeah. Darrelle Revis.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably be, one of those next type of guys. And Patrick Surtain too. He's going to his second season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He made he was first team All-Pro, right? No, he was second team.
Yeah, Surtain will be
he was first team, right? He was first team, yeah. Yeah,
Surtain, I think this is his second year. It'll be his third year next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely an name. And your boy Roquan Smith.
Yep.
Yep, paid him. I think he's the highest paid linebacker right now, first team. So next season, you gotta get that first team again.
Yeah, even Jeffrey Simmons, like down there in Tennessee, I know, like they had that losing streak at the end of the year, but he definitely had some plays, definitely against the Jaguars, for sure. And I think he missed some games, and they was talking about how talented he was as well. I think them Simmons boys, they're not probably related, but again, Justin Simmons out there in Denver and Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee, there's like low-key very talented guys.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this episode of the B&E Podcast. We're presented by Prehemium. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Podcast B&E. We got 4 games coming up next weekend. With the divisional round, we'll be back to preview them all later this week. Until then, love one another.